learn to let go of thoughts that you hold on to, like you have a river and you have all these different colored logs. All the different colored logs are different thoughts, concepts, and when you're not functioning right, you're holding on to that thought against the river, and you become obsessed with it, and you're fighting it, rather than just letting the thought go.
But
And you'll see the thought again periodically, but through meditation, I've learned to release, let it go.
okay. You don't fight with your thought, but you don't learn to release it too. You just ask the question, and it do it by itself.
That's what I'm learning.
That's why the old master said that it's an automatic broom to sweep all of your thoughts. You don't need to do the sweeping. Asking this question will do the sweeping. We will do the cleaning of your thought for you.
I find asking the questions better. My first technique I learned was counting. And I get to a certain number and I would grab on the thought. Wasn't working.
Don't grab. Anything you grab on, you become the slave of that grip.
So counting was, this is better. I'm working on it.
Ông hiểu được cái này rồi thầy. Là cái bất cứ cái ông nói là những cái phương pháp khác á, đều là dạy ông đó là phải nắm chặt cái ý thức đó để mà work với cái ý thức đó. Một đó là khi nó tốt đó thì giữ, mà nó xấu thì lấy cột đa đại. Nhưng mà còn cái này là không có dạy người ta nắm cái gì hết.
Của sở trụ đó.
Tức là ông hiểu.
Thì bây giờ ví dụ cái tay đi ha. Cái tay này á, ví dụ nhiều lắm, bây giờ thêm nữa. Phật pháp cái tay của mình này, nếu mà không có nắm cái gì hết á, thì cái dùng đó là mọi thứ hết. Muốn nắm thứ nào cũng được hết. Dịch đi. Nói nhiều quá.
He giving another example, just like your hand, right? You have a free hand. You can grab, hold anything you want, right? But if you set your mind, I want to hold this one, and I don't want to let go. Because of that, you cannot hold the other one.
And you get tired.
Yes, and you get tired of that. You have all the emotions, all the feeling connected to it. But if you have your free mind, you can grab and go, on the flow, in your free will.
What question did you choose?
The first one, before heaven and earth existed, what was that?
Nếu mà cái tay mình nắm một vật gì á, ví dụ không mình đây nó phải tiếp diễn á. Nếu mình nắm một vật gì á, thì cái dụng này nó chỉ có được nhiêu đây thôi. Còn trở lại mình buông cái này ra, mình tự làm cái nắm tay, thì cái dùng của cái bàn tay này không có được nữa.
Cũng mất luôn.
Chỉ là được có cái dụng của nắm tay thôi. Thì cái này á, cái nắm tay này cũng phải buông ra, thì cái dùng bàn tay nó mới linh động.
Nó giống như cái bà bác sĩ nãy mà giữ cái không có cái gì á, cái không đó cũng bắt kẹt, không xài được cái dụng.
Cái nắm này á là có, còn cái nắm cái nắm tay này là không.
He's saying that your hand, right? When you hold the pen is the thing you're holding. But now you don't have the pen, you still hold. You hold nothing, but you still hold. It's equally the same thing. You hold a thing or you hold nothing, it's still holding. The concept is let go the holding. And then when you let go the holding, you will gain all the power the Buddha has. He just wants you to see the difference of holding one thing, a material thing, and holding nothing. It's still a hold.
You're still holding something.
Yeah, it's still hold. Doesn't matter. Yeah. But if you let go, you don't hold. You gain everything.
And you love it.
Example like when you feel angry or you're not angry, it's something. So when you stand in, you just keep your mind in no angry, just inside you still angry. Level and the other still the same.
Bây giờ mình tham thiền, tức là tham thiền đó, lìa cái đối đãi có và không.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know, in our life, we always treat each other. We always see you and me, right? That's the treating. That's the connecting, communicating, or treating, right? And then, but practicing this, then you will leave the treating each other, the communication with each other, the being dependent on each other. Do you understand?
It's all about yourself.
Yes, because now you need other people to be interacting with them, right? You cannot interact to yourself, right? Asking this question will help you to be free from depending on the outsider. And being free from depending on the outsider doesn't mean that you're alone. It means that you have the free will to do whatever you decide to do.
I understand.
Yeah. I understand.
Hiểu rồi.
You're right.
But it's opposite of the way I was raised. I was raised Catholic Church, where you can't talk to God unless you talk through a priest.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with totally.
Yes.
Which is why I'm here.
Yeah. That's why you come here. Right? Ông nói là hồi trước á, ông đi nhà thờ, ông cũng không tin cái chuyện mà mình nói chuyện với lại God. Ông không có tin God đó. Dạ. Ông không có tin cả Chúa đó. Ông không có tin cái chuyện đó. Ông đã không tin cái chuyện đó trước đó rồi.
Mình dẫn chứng thêm cái này này, cái pháp đối đãi đó, mình nói ra đều là có cái pháp đối đãi hết. Ví dụ như thương đối với ghét, buồn đối với vui, ngày đối với đêm, tất cả những cái đối đãi như có đối với không. Đó là cái sự tạo tác của vọng tâm điên đảo của mình tạo ra.
Okay.
You got a tough job today.
Yeah. This is a tough job today. I mean, have you like, for example, I use like two-way streets, right? You always have at least two. Yes, no. Morning, night, sleep, awake, anger, calm, happy, unhappy. They're always like two things pulling each other, just like the law of attraction in our life, where we live now. Always at least have two things depending on each other and pulling each other to something. And then we create something else because of that pulling force together, the bond together. And then that bond, that pulling together is the product of your brain. Your brain creates them. Yeah. And nurture them into thousand things you don't even know. Yeah. That's why we want you to stop the working of your brain to create a temporary, unreal things. And look and find back your true self in order to have the true, see the true things and decide for yourself.
Cái pháp thiền này á là mục đích là để biết rõ chính mình là cái gì.
The goal of this practicing is to help you to find your true self. Yeah.
True self.
To understand yourself.
Okay. So, do you believe that you have a true self beyond this physical body?
Yes.
Yes, that's your true self. It's hidden in your physical body.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's the goal of this practicing. To find the permanent true self, not the temporary, short-lived you. Yeah. Yeah.
It's beyond birth and death.
Yeah.
Cũng là biết rõ cái nguồn gốc vũ trụ vạn vật của mọi thứ á, nó không có khác.
Yeah. And when you find the true self, you will see the true face of the whole universe. And you will see the origin of the whole universe coming to you. Because of what you know about the universe now is limited by your brain. Yeah.
Và Đức Phật đã chứng ngộ rồi, biết rõ và nói là tất cả các pháp đều không có sự bắt đầu.
Yeah. And the Buddha is an awakening person, and he knows that all the methodology doesn't have the beginning.
Không có sự bắt đầu, đương nhiên là không có sự cuối cùng.
Yeah.
Trong khoảng thời gian đó thì không có buồn, vui, thương, ghét, giận, hờn, làm cho cái tâm mình phải khổ sở.
Yeah. Since you don't have the beginning, you don't have the ending. Yeah. And then when you come to the state of mind like that, you don't feel the anger, the happiness, the sadness, all the emotions your brain interprets now.
Bây giờ thì mình trái ngược trở lại, là mình đều thấy có sự bắt đầu và cuối cùng thì có buồn, vui, thương, ghét, thì làm cho mình đau khổ.
In our life now, we always see the beginning and the end. Like birth, death, and we see the beginning and the end, and we always see the two things looking at each other, like happiness and sadness, anger and calm. Yeah, that's the cause, that's the root of all our trouble. Yeah.
Mình thấy có sự bắt đầu và cuối cùng á, là do cái bộ não này là lầm nhận, nên mới có cái sự bắt đầu và cuối cùng.
The reason you see the beginning and the end of everything, that is that is the way your brain see it, and it's not the truth. Yeah, it's just a misconcept of your brain about the true the true self of everything. All the universe, all human beings, all the beings. Right.
Ví dụ như cái người điên á, thì họ tạo ra cái cảnh giới của họ, rồi họ cảm nhận cái cảnh giới đó mới có cái sự vui, buồn, thương ghét, mà tự người đó biết thôi.
Okay. For example, I don't know which way to put better, like the mental person or a crazy person, right? They have their own world, and they perceive the world in their own world as a anger, happiness, or depression, or anything. It's in their own mind, and we don't know what's in there, but they create it on their own, and they themselves get trapped into the world they create for themselves. Yeah.
Những người không có điên á, thì không có những cảnh giới đó, cảnh giới buồn, vui, thương ghét họ tạo á. Tại người không có điên á, thì họ không có tạo cảnh đó, thì không có bị những cảnh giới buồn, vui, thương ghét làm đau khổ.
And then when a healthy person doesn't create the crazy word inside themselves, so they don't experience all the emotions a mental person has. They don't have the same experience. They look, I mean, the same thing, but they look differently. Yeah.
Cái đó là cái ví dụ để chứng tỏ là cuộc sống hiện tại của mình đây nè. Mình chấp thật á, cho cái gì là thật á, thành ra mới có cái như là buồn, vui, thương, ghét là thật. Cái gì mình thấy nghe hiểu biết là thật. Nên bị cái đó nó ràng buộc.
Yeah, I mean, in your life, right? You always say, "This is mine. This belongs to me." You attach to everything, and that attachment is the origin of all your sufferings, all your troubles. Yeah.
Like for instance, if you judge something unfair and wrong, and especially if it's happening to you, and we watch what happens inside of ourselves. Oh, this is unfair. This is wrong. Well, now I'm going to do this and that, and I have to defend myself, and yeah, and you go, and it's all created here because of judging something unfair or wrong. And then you go into all kinds of states and torture, really, self-torture. And even it causes wars and killing each other and everything.
It begins with property.
It begins with a thought and a judgment.
Judgment, huh? That's hard not to judge.
Anything you hold on to it, and then it will have the product of the holding on is the judgment, the fixation. They cannot let go, and then that's the source of your suffering, your trouble, all your pain, and everything.
I do have a question.
Right.
When I've always wondered what there are people who meditate alone, and then there are people who become Buddhists, who become monks, and meditate together.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of a monastery? How does that, it preserves something, almost like, what does it do, and who does it do it for? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you understand that?
So I mean that
There's people that just meditate alone with no teacher.
Why does a monastery
And
exist?
then there's a group of people, a monastery.
yeah.
Why a monastery? Is it good or not? Or good, not good or bad? There it is. Yeah.
Why we need that and why we don't need that, right?
Yes,
Why,
right,
The
right.
question is that if we could do it alone, why do we need the monastery?
Yes.
Yeah, to guide us, right?
Or maybe is there something different that happens when many people are meditating together? I'm trying to think of Catholics. It's got to be very different.
So ask him, can you do that?
Yeah. Câu hỏi là như vậy nè. Nếu mà người ta có thể tham thiền một mình đó, thì cái khác biệt giữa tham thiền một mình với lại tham thiền ở trong tu viện mà có teacher, cái khác biệt nó như thế nào?
Cái nhờ cái số đông á, nó lôi kéo với nhau thì dễ tu hơn, dễ tinh tấn hơn.
Ok.
Hỏi là có thầy hay không có thầy nó khác nhau cái nào? Dạ.
Có thầy á thì nó dễ dàng hơn. Mình thắc mắc điều gì mình hỏi trực tiếp. Còn không có thầy mình có thắc mắc mình biết hỏi ai.
Giống như mình đi học vậy đó, giảng.
Okay. His answer. The more the better. You practice alone, right? It's fine if you are alone, right? You have no choice. But if you do have the option, you join together and practice as a group, you have the support from the group, right?
It's like a
And then if you practice with a teacher, because the teacher is a very experienced. He does the practice for many years. Like all the master, they doing this practice for like 30 years already, constantly, because it's their full-time and overtime job.
Right.
And we do our practice just like a part-time job, right? Or a moonlight job, right? So if we're doing a part-time job, a moonlight job, how could we achieve the same thing like a person who's doing it as a full-time job and overtime job? So, yeah, yes. And then that's why we need a teacher, because when we practice something, we will have our own experience, and then when we want and when we have experience, when we feel like we want to ask the question, it's better to ask the teachers, because the teacher, they already know it. They pass through it.
They live
Yeah.
it. They live it.
They live with it, so they can give you the correct answer.
So you're evolving all the time if you're
Yes.
in a monastery. So it's
Yeah.
almost like a school that has no end.
No, it will become an end when you find your true self.
Oh dear.
When you empty it, and the whole universe is passing through.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that's the difference why you need a teacher.
I see. Okay.
Because they are a lot more knowledgeable and they have a dedication to the practice a lot more than us.
And a lot
It's-
of experience.
Yeah. It's not just their overtime job, it's their devotion, their dedication to it. Yeah, so but the level of energy, the time they spend is a lot more than like us. That's why we need a teacher.